Three, two, one. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 282 of the KBMOD podcast. I am your beautiful host, Katie Zen, joined with my affiliates, APL Fisher, Volition, and Hutchison15. And we've got a lot to talk about this week. We are finally out of E3. Since last cast, we've had Nintendo's conference, Bethesda's conference, and also Sony's conference, but not a lot to talk about there, as you'll soon hear.
Ooh,
but
stayed early.
Sony. Oh man, yeah. We'll get into how disappointed I was, but yeah, how's everybody been doing this week?
That was great, Katie. I just have to say there was zero stumbling. It was very to the point. It was a nice little intro with yourself. That's an 8.5 to a 9.
Oh, I forgot the date.
Unfortunately,
no, that's right. Oh no, it's June 18th.
This entry is rendered invalid.
Oh,
God damn
no.
it. See, but I forget the date too. So even me rating you, I forget.
Because like one thing I noticed listening to last week's intro, there were so many uhs and ums, and I didn't do a single one.
You didn't do any of those. That's why I was so taken with your lack of umming and oohing. That sounds. So what is the date?
Yeah, but definitely improvement. But sometimes
very improved. If you had the date tacked on that, that's a near perfect intro. So next time. That's pretty good.
We'll see. We'll get it.
Well, the date's June 18th, 2017, episode 282.
There it is. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm good, man. It's been good. It's Father's Day today, obviously, which we should mention. What did you guys do? Did you guys talk to your daddies today?
I don't ever want to address my father.
No, but I talked to my father.
Oh, you talked to your father. Okay, cool. Yeah, I wasn't talking about your fathers. I was talking about your daddies. That's a separate topic. But
I'm gonna say
they're both doing great.
That's good. Yeah. Did you do anything special? Did you hang? I mean, I know some of you guys don't live near. I mean, like Brandon, your family's in Texas. So.
Yeah, I know. I just see them. Talk to him on the phone.
On the phone. Nice. Mm-hmm. It's all right. You don't have to get choked up and emotional about your distance.
No, I'm eating some trail mix. This is why I can't eat during the cast.
You joke. Oh, Brandon, getting tearing up. What about you, Katie? Anything with the pops today?
Well, I wasn't able to get the day off today. So
that's right. You were working, yeah.
Not too much. I definitely want to. I want to redeem this day by taking him out to some delicious breakfast at Dennys. But
nice. That's always a good.
Yeah, definitely. But
that's a nice affordable Father's Day meal. Everyone, it's enjoyable, but it doesn't break the bank.
Yeah. It's delicious, yeah. And there's another place close to us. I'm not sure if it's like a local thing, but it's this like Japanese restaurant called Kasai, which is just incredible food there. It's so good. I'll take him there too. But I got him a gift that I thought would be really, really unconventional, but he actually really liked it. I got him well, first I got him a shop vac, which you would think like, why the fuck would you get him a shop vac for Father's Day? But it's there's this attachment you can put on it that it's to clean records, and you attach it to like your turntable. And he's really, really into music, a lot of records. He actually, when he was younger, he interviewed Devo plenty of times. He interviewed like Blondie, the Ramones, and several times. I really wish he would like sit down and tell all the stories. That's completely off topic. He's a really cool guy. Anyways, so I got him something to clean his records with the attachment and the shop vac for it. So, but he was pretty happy. He was pretty happy with it. I was worried.
Good gift.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, definitely. And I made it a point to say, Dad, I'm not getting you a card this year. Because I'm not going to give someone else money for, like, can we talk about how fucked up the card industry is? Like, the only reason, like, you've ever held on to a card. Like, cards are, they're funny.
Do you even hold on to them? I throw them
I only hold on to them. Yeah, the only time I hold on to them is when people write additional, like,
sure, if there's a really good message, I guess, yeah. That would be
exactly.
the reason, but...
Yeah, but
then you
get
feel forced to hold on to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, only if you have it's not like they're gonna check and see if you still have your card, right?
I mean, they might. I don't know.
You never know when one of your family members is gonna do one of those card audits. You remember that card I gave you when you were 7, and I wrote that heartfelt message?
Let's see it again, huh? Yeah. Oh, you threw it away.
Oh, that's the kind of son I got. Oh, okay.
I think I forgot your gift.
It is true though. Like, what are you worried about? Like, no one's gonna audit me. Because I'm even thinking about that. Like, that is a great point talking about cards, because you'll get, you know, like for your birthday or whatever, you get a bunch of cards or any kind of holiday, and yeah, it'll be like there'll be a couple messages, but unless it's like a really well thought out message, I'll even have the intention. I'll keep them around for a while, and then eventually I'll be like, it'll be like 6 months later, and I'm looking at different stuff on my bookshelf.
That's the thing. What is the statute of limitations on having to keep a card?
Yeah,
because that's what I'm worried about. All right, it's not. I'm not worried about they're going to bring it up years later. I'm worried that like I throw it away immediately because I read it. I've gotten what I need out of it. You know, I appreciate that. But then if you toss it out, then how long are you required to keep cards like that?
That's a good question.
It comes down to like self-guilt. Like, how long are you going to feel guilty? Or how long until you not feel guilty about throwing it away?
I would say a month is safe. I would say like a month, like if it's a birthday, I would say a month after that. I don't think you're going to get, people forget. I mean, you get a couple days, but I also want to know the kind of person who, I mean, you're right though. I'm sure that there have been awkward situations that have happened. Like maybe someone gives you a card they think is really funny, and then maybe it comes up in a conversation a month later, like, oh, Daryl, remember that card I got you? Like, I could see it happening.
Or like if they write on the back the month and year, right? So like they're sort of commemorating that was the year. I don't know if you have relatives who have done that, but it's like that sort of indicates that like they think you're gonna keep it, and so if you ever reference back to it, you'll know which year it was for. Yeah, it's a dangerous game.
Right. I'm just laughing at the prospect of you go to like Christmas dinner and grandma's like, "Do you still have my card?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah," you know.
Sure, grandma.
But I was just like, "Listen, I'm gonna just tell you how much you mean to me in person rather than
KD."
I mean,
that's a good way to frame it. I mean, I didn't get my dad card either this year. I got I got two siblings, so we usually on Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays, we pull stuff together. And this year, we were trying to figure out what to get him, and I just had the epiphany moment. I was like, every time I see him, he has never had a good pair of headphones. He's always using the shitty, iPod headphones or whatever else. He has an iPad. He watches Netflix all the time, listens to a lot of podcasts. So I was like, I'm going to get him a nice pair of like studio monitors. Brad, so these studio monitors that you sent me, these changed my life, by the way, the Sony MD, whatever.
Yeah, dude.
And I mean, I still use them. Like, they're probably the most comfortable headphones I've
ever
had.
Like, seriously, there's a reason why they haven't changed the design for like 30 odd years.
It's crazy.
Because they're so good.
They're so comfortable. They're portable. Like, they're really easy to bring around. So anyway, I just got him a pair of those. I mean, not like super expensive, but like you can get them for like $90 to $100. And he really appreciated that. It's just like all about like practicality, I guess, is for my dad. Like, he just wants stuff that he's going to use. So we got that.
Well, he will never need another pair of headphones.
Yeah, it'll last forever. So I got him that, and I'm trying to think what else he got, but yeah, it was good. I said basically the same thing, Katie. I was like, I'm not gonna get you a card that you're just gonna throw away. I don't need to write I'll tell you, Dad, and then I launch into it.
It's like if you really care about someone, just give them $4 instead of buying a greeting card.
The card industry.
Yeah.
I probably think about those things too literally and objectively, but I'm thinking like, look, why don't you just if you really want to, wish me a happy birthday or whatever, just like give me whatever, give me a few dollars for the card, give me just cash or I don't know, a gift card if cash is uncomfortable, but I don't need things. The thing that I don't like is I just don't need things. I don't need more things, because if I want something, I've probably already bought it.
Okay, that's a good point too. I mean, honestly, these holidays, especially Mother's Day, I mean, they were literally created to make money, right, and to build an industry around a lot of them. Exactly. Father's Day has a little bit different of an origin, but I mean, most of these kind of holidays, it's all just about selling stuff to you and making you feel guilty if you don't participate. I mean, one thing that's even more powerful, which I did do one year. I don't think it might have been for a birthday, but instead of buying a card, I literally, because I did want to write something out a little more heartfelt, I just wrote it out in Microsoft Word and I printed it on white paper.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was like, because it was a longer message, I was like, I'm not going to write that in a card. And it was like, that was way better than any $4 stupid Hallmark card I would have given. Yeah. It was just like, hey, okay, I can read this and I'll keep this. This is nice. So yeah, no, I'm with you on that. The card stuff's ridiculous. And then you like look at it, you like look at the back, and like, I'm paying $6 or some of these cards. It's like, what are you doing? This is literally
exactly.
You're charging me $6 or $7 for this? This is insane.
Yeah, I remember a couple days ago, I'm standing in the aisle, getting a card of my brother, and the aisle is just filled with people, last-minute people, looking at the Father's Day section, struggling to pick something out to impress their father.
What do you think the markup is on those cards? Like 6,000%, 8,000%?
They get away with it too.
Of course.
Yeah.
Something insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. I hate that whole industry.
Oof, I'm with you. That's good.
Anyways.
Okay, so that's good. So we all, whatever. Father's Day. It is today. So if you're a father, if you're a daddy, then happy Father's Day to you, even if you're listening to this after the fact. But yeah, anything?
Some Father's Day meals.
Any
good Father's Day meals?
Father's Day meals.
So we're transitioning into what we've been eating.
Yeah, that's a good call. I had my mom. Actually went over. My mom has been doing pizza for a lot of years, so she made some homemade pizza. She's always very good at that. So we had that. But yeah, I don't have like a standard. We don't have a go-to meal for like Father's or Mother's Day. It's just whatever. It's just like dealer's choice, like what my dad wants, what my mom wants. Do you have a go-to? Do you have a standard?
Not really a go-to, but I know what we had something special tonight, but I literally can't remember the name of the dish. So
can you describe it? Because that would even be more interesting.
It was tuna and pasta and I literally can't remember.
Very appetizing.
I know it was delicious, but I mean, it was like tuna and pasta and vegetables, and that was about it. I think it might have been casserole, but it
was a casserole. Sounds like a casserole.
It was probably casserole, yeah, but it was delicious. Yeah,
I just love the idea of Katie just stuffing something that tastes good down his gullet and being like, "I really enjoyed that," but then later after the fact, being like, "I couldn't tell you what it was. I remember that I enjoyed it." Just totally leaves his mind.
What'd you eat today? I ate today.
I ate something.
It was good. Tastes really good. Oh my god!
I actually really like. A lot of people hate. Yeah, casserole has. We've talked about this before, but because this is basically a food cast. But people, I feel like there's not really tepid water on casserole for most. It's either like I hate like the word casserole makes people ill, or they really enjoy casseroles. I like casseroles a lot, but the hatred for casserole is pretty strong.
Yeah, casserole. It's
not an appetizing word. I think the thing is, people when you say casserole, I think people just have this idea in their mind that it's. It's like the old TV shows when you see this like gross amalgamation of things. It's like actually casserole can mean. I mean, casserole has so many different meanings because it's not. There's not one thing that casserole is. But
yeah, that's true. It can take a lot of forms.
Casserole, I love most casserole I've tried. You could make a bad casserole, but I think in general it's like a pretty good dish.
It definitely is also like a generational thing, like tuna casserole. My dad has a famous story about how when they were traveling across the country, a famous story within our family, not of course worldwide, but he always tells about how like when they were doing they went to the Grand Canyon stuff, travel across the United States, his mother before they left had bought tuna on sale, and so they had she bought it like in a huge box of it. So basically they had tuna casserole, tuna sandwiches, tuna surprise for 3 weeks on the road trip, and about that basically ruined tuna casserole or anything like that for him. But I feel like people have sometimes those stories because casseroles, I think just by virtue it's something that you can make. You can use leftovers, you can use excess stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, you kind of throw things in to make a casserole.
Yeah, exactly. So but you're right. So you
green bean casserole though, fantastic, just utterly fantastic,
amazing. Okay.
I don't have anything special to talk about for Father's Day because I've just been hanging out here, and I had a Hot Pocket for lunch.
We don't live with our parents, but
yeah. But I did. I was at E3 this week, and there's if you don't know, there's a Dennys right in downtown, and so I ate at Dennys on the first night, and I had chicken fried steak and eggs.
Yes, man.
And then on the second night, tried to eat at Dennys, but somehow either their cook was gone or he was on break or something, and they didn't have another cook. So you could sit down and like they would serve you drinks and other things that didn't have to be cooked. But they were like, it's going to be 45 minutes or so before the cook is back.
Oh,
well, that doesn't work for us. So we went to another place that's pretty close. It's called the Pantry. But to make it feel like I was at Denny's, I also again got chicken fried steak and eggs.
How was it at the Pantry?
It was fine. Yeah, I mean it was fine. Yeah. And then went to Denny's again the next night, and again got chicken fried steak and eggs. So
I'm so proud of you and your commitment. But you just can't top. That is the pinnacle.
Oh, it's just fantastic. I can eat it any time of day.
It's so hard to beat. It's just such a hard dish to beat, especially at Denny's. That's awesome. That makes me happy.
You know,
3 trips. That was all I could make work with my schedule. But you know.
That's still a pretty solid. That's good. I'd say 3 is like probably right where you want to be. It'd be 4 would be nice, but maybe a little unrealistic.
Yeah, it's not necessarily realistic to get there every single night.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I forgot to tell the story, but about a week ago when I picked up my fight stick, I also took my mom to Dennys because it was like the first time she'd ever had Dennys in like over a decade, because she was convinced that Dennys was terrible and that she hated it. And so I'm like, we're gonna set the record straight. And so I took her to Dennys. Yeah. And I made a huge mistake. When we were ordering, I really had to go to the bathroom. And so when I left and I came back, I remembered the key reason my mom doesn't like Dennys is because you can't really customize your order like to past a certain extent. Like she wanted like to build your own breakfast, and like she wanted, I forget exactly the specifics, and I feel like Dennys experts like are gonna destroy me for this, but she couldn't get bacon with it. Yeah, I know. But she was ordering and she couldn't swap something for bacon. She couldn't get waffles instead of this.
Probably because it's like part of like some defined thing to get that special or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I felt like such a fool. I left at that crucial moment, the most deciding factor whether or not she's going to enjoy her trip. I was like, when we sat down, I'm like, Mom, you can get whatever you want, but I guarantee you there are dishes that I can promise you will love. Like right here, we've got the country fried steak.
You got to give her a guided tour, man.
Yeah, but I failed. She ended up getting a couple strips of bacon and the biscuits and gravy, which they're delicious, but I let her down.
You could tell that the moment had been lost.
She wasn't blown away.
Yeah. I got the country fried steak, and I'm sitting there eating it, going,
"Wow,
oh my god, this is incredible." No, but I told
You're over
her
here eating like a king, and you let her
your mother
order a few strips of bacon.
Side of bacon that cost her extra. Goddamn, some biscuits and gravy. That's your family, Katie. That's your mom's, man.
It's not like I'm having like a 5-star dinner and she's over with like a ramen noodle meal. But no, she had really good food. But
you know what you should have done? You should have jumped on that grenade and just taken the biscuits and gravy,
swap her dishes, swap her dishes, and say, "Here's what you should have ordered."
Yeah, I mean, we did trade. I did offer, like, she had some of mine, and like I offered her a bite. She took a bite and she remarked at how great it was, and I felt even worse because I'm like,
wow.
Now I felt like I didn't want, because I felt like she wasn't happy with what she got. Like she was very happy with. I mean, it was good food. It's all good food. But
yeah. So now she likes Denny's, but she has a bad son. That sucks.
Yeah. Yes. So nothing's changed. You know. Yeah, it's kind of shifted. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, I just forgot to bring that up. It's a good story.
You didn't get your homework. Your homework, Katie, was to try the naked chicken chips from Taco Bell.
Shit.
I'm assuming you didn't do it.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
All right, next week. I blew it twice so far.
All right. I'll text you this week to remind you. It's just randomly, and hopefully.
Yeah.
We could actually get some of those after this cast. That doesn't sound like a bad idea.
There you go. Not a bad idea. Do it. All right. Anything else food wise, or should we go on to what we've been playing? Anybody? I don't really have anything this week.
Well, I mean, what I've been playing and what I've been eating are the same thing, because the answer is chicken dinners.
Oh, nice segue.
That was one of the best segues.
That was very, very nice.
Yeah, that's like I said, I was out of town this week, but I got back and I was playing a little bit of Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
And actually, the only one I won. Or I won a duos game, but then we were playing squads, and I was gonna go to bed, and I was the first one to die, and so three other people were still alive. And I was like, I really need to go to bed. So I said, hey, I'm gonna hop off, and I quit. I quit the game and everything. And then I was finishing up, and I get messages afterward that they won. So I won, and I wasn't even there to see the end.
Oh no.
Okay.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing though, as always.
Okay. Definitely. Well,
what a good fucking game, dude.
It is. It's
a great game.
It's a really good game.
They had a pretty neat little event at E3. That was kind of cool. They had like sort of a replica Dacia. I don't know where they found it, but just a neat like themed party. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, they introduced PlayerUnknown at a couple different events.
Yeah. He seemed real busy the whole time doing interviews and stuff like that. It was pretty cool.
What about the fact that we don't have this in news, so I'm just going to steal this now. The fact that it's coming to console. What do you guys think about that?
I think
makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense for sure. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I guess I kind of was rooting for cross-platform play, which I know it's not going to be. Just to have more fodder to mess with, because that would be pretty rough. But I think it does make sense. It is very successful. But how do they sell it in the sense of like, is it still considered early access, or is it just a release on?
No,
on
I don't think they intend to stay in early access for that long. So my guess is they probably, like once they graduate from early access, they probably plan alongside or shortly thereafter to release it on console. That was
the other thing. Was like, is that the good news that this isn't going to be a 2-year, early access, like you said? Like that basically signals that because they want to get it out on console. So
I can't remember where I read this, but I think they mentioned they want to be in early access for like 6 months or something. Like it's not. I don't think it's intended to be a prolonged thing.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, things are moving quickly for that game. It's just like it blew up, and they're still making a lot of changes. But yeah, like being on console, like they're just. I feel like they're constantly announcing these big things that are going to take a ton of work.
Right.
And so I imagine. I mean, I guess their studio is probably expanding really quickly, but just having a console version, like I guess your dev team is probably going to be a lot bigger than what they started with.
I'm just I'm super wet for them to do the update with all the animations for jumping over fences and vaulting. And it's gonna be
like
so
that.
Nice.
That was some of the most interesting news of E3. Was just like upcoming Battlegrounds changes.
Yep.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. That's not in our news at all, but we saw a lot of new stuff. There's a new weapon. It's like a bullpup to like kind of mid-range rifle. He talked for a little bit about new maps. There was like a sunset map, and there was also a fog map coming out.
Yeah, which
the sunset map sounds interesting, because he says he probably doesn't want to do a night map, which makes sense. But like doing sunset, the visibility will be a little bit worse. And I think the fog map is maybe the most interesting, because right now distance kind of owns the game, right? The best players, like once you get sniper rifles and scopes, it's just over. And with fog, it's like maybe that forces people to change up their style and maybe have an SMG as their secondary and things like that.
Well, nothing's scarier than like being randomly jumped on, right? So I mean, like having fog, just that unknown there is.
Would you say that it's scary dealing with players that are unknown in the fog? Okay, I'm done. Sorry, go ahead.
That's whew.
Ooh, that was bad. Listen,
I think the other big thing they talked about was like Scott mentioned, the animations like for vaulting. So they're kind of they're changing the current system. The current system, if anyone's played the game, it's super clunky. Like jumping over things. Sometimes you get stuck on something, or like you can't jump over something that's not very high. It's just a really clunky system. And so they showed some preview that they're changing that to where you'll be able to sort of vault, or like sort of like parkour over stuff, but not true parkour. But also they showed a clip where like you could potentially jump out of a first story window of a house. If you're inside the house, like you could jump out the window. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, cool. that will change games, because right now that the doors are the only way people can get in and out of houses generally. So if they like that mechanic looked really interesting because that will completely change the dynamic of fighting around houses.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, that will be really interesting to see. Yeah, it's good. I mean, and definitely performance-wise, I've definitely noticed. I mean, we've talked about this a bit with that game, but and there's a big, the super like performance patch. I forget, it's coming up pretty soon though. The next one that's really supposed to address a lot of the lag and server issues is soon.
And that's pretty much all Brendan Green said when he was on stage.
Yep.
He was just like he was just hammering the point home. Like right now we're really focused on performance and stuff. They kept trying to get him to answer different questions, and he was basically kind of like, yeah, that's coming, but like really right now we're just focusing on performance.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can tell they have a one-track mind right now.
Yeah. Okay, so Katie, you can go ahead and share what you've been playing, and also if you have anything else to say. It's not like you got cut off multiple times by some of us. So did you have anything else to add to that?
No, just you know, everything I want to talk about was covered, so we're good.
Okay. In regards to all right, well, what have you been playing this week besides?
I think I talked about this before, where I bought Transistor like the week it came out, played it for an hour in like 2014, and knew, holy shit, this is going to change my life. And then I never played it again. So like this past week, I sat down, I had a full day off, and I haven't finished it yet because I'm terrible at finishing games. I suck at it. But I played a lot of Transistor, and that is just one of my top 5 games I've ever played, honestly. Like that game is just incredible in every sense, visually, like audibly, I guess. Like the combat system is so cool in that like you unlock new moves, and every move can also be used. Have any of you played Transistor?
No, I just actually Googled it to take a look at what it looks like, and it looks like a Weeb cover.
It's not Weeb at all.
It's a fantastic game. It's from Supergiant, the same company that made Bastion.
Just making sure. Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and so like every move you unlock can be used as an upgrade or passive, and I found myself like giggling thinking of all the different like combinations you could make with these abilities, and like they have like training modes you can use and little like sub maps. I'm not too terribly far in it, but it's just been incredible first impressions, and I can't wait to do NG Plus. And Supergiant's new game Pyre is coming out next month, and I've never had so much absolute faith in a studio than Supergiant after coming off of Bastion and Transistor. Like that's just 2 consistent all-time great games.
Yeah, they're 2 for 2 for me because I basically only played Transistor, or I only bought Transistor because of Bastion. I was like, whatever this studio puts out after Bastion, I owe it to myself to try it. And you're right, Transistor is really, really good. And I don't even know that much about their upcoming game, but I'm just going to get it because their studio, just so far, everything they put out is super creative, and you're right, like both of those games are like top 10 games probably.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I think it's like a 3 versus 3 like RPG fighting kind of strategy game. I mean, you take one look at it and it looks like Supergiant Games was behind it. But yeah, I'm excited. Other than that, I picked up Tekken 7 finally, and I've been really enjoying that. That's been a really fun fighting game. It's my first Tekken, so kind of getting used to you know, I haven't really played a lot of like 3-dimensional fighting games, so like that whole like system of stepping toward and away from the screen, kind of wrap my head around that. But yeah, it's been a really fun and also just a really hilarious fighting game. You know, I picked Kuma, which is just the giant bear bodyguard for Heihachi, and he just kills me. Like his critical rage art is like he flings you in the air, then picks up a fish and like swings the fish at you like a home run bat, or like, oh my god, me talking about it doesn't do it justice. Kuma is amazing, although I'm very devastated that Roger the kangaroo is in fact not in Tekken 7. And,
what a crime!
Yeah, neither is Alex the Velociraptor, which I'm just devastated.
How do you even buy a game with those deficiencies?
Exactly. Yeah, that's a tough purchase. Yeah, I mean, how are they going to put money in to get like Akuma from Street Fighter in there? Nobody wants that. They want Alex. Anyway. Yeah, the game's been really fun. Just mainly those two this past week. I need to jump into Battlegrounds some more. I'm getting rusty.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Therefore,
all right, Brad. What about you?
I'm actually in a slump right now, trying to find games to play. And it's especially tough on my connection because it takes me forever to download games. So I tried playing Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, how'd that go?
It's just I'm not into MMOs. I don't think I'm gonna keep trying it. I think because it is a little more fun than what I'm used to. I think with other MMOs, and then I played Battlefield 4 or Battlefield 1. Excuse me.
I was just gonna say you were playing that before the cast a bit as well.
Yeah, I think they've done some decent changes. What they've done with the premium status is pretty cool too as well. So if you have premium and your friends don't, if they're in your party, they can play on premium maps.
It doesn't keep their stats or whatever, but
right, which sucks. But at the same time, it's like, well, at least we're getting to play together. So
that's awesome.
That's a nice change.
Yeah, I think it's nice because you're not locking out your friends from playing with you, and you're not also taking a step back in the content that you could play just to play with your friends. So it's a good balance, I think. Of course, a perfect world would be just free DLC, but let's be real, this is EA. So,
well, free DLC, we already talked about that. That's happening with the new Battlefront game. So
that is true. That is happening with Battlefront, and they're moving to a like currency system to, I'm guessing,
right, for the other stuff. But
right.
Yeah. No, Brad, I don't know, man. I have to say, this is just my observation. When you don't have Rust as your center, as your go-to game, you start to, I don't know, I guess I should say anchor. You start to drift a little bit aimlessly, you know? It's like hard to find.
I know.
Something that, it's like, you know what it is? You're like a junkie. It's like Rust was your heroin, and now it's like everything else just doesn't, like, on Rust, man, you had sex on Rust. You were at the top of the world on Rust, and now it's like you're going back to just normal, straight up missionary position gaming, and it's just not the same, man. You're sober. You're like, I've been at the apex, man. This is so boring now. You know, I got to play. So I'm just saying, I'm not saying I don't want you to get back into your. This analogy is very odd. I don't want you to get back to your heroin addiction of Rust, but I do want you to be able to find a game that will fill that void for you in there, because I do.
I'm going to use the term missionary position gaming so much. that is gold.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
You know, it's fine, nothing wrong with it, but there's a whole world out there to explore.
So much more you could be doing.
So many others. That's good. Well, that's good. What about you? Haven't been playing Battlegrounds much, Brad, lately?
I played a couple matches, but that was really it. I haven't been doing any squads or anything, and the people I did squad up with, they kind of stopped playing and started playing other games. So,
gotcha.
Yeah, Brad, I'm just kind of playing.
Soma? I'm sorry.
Huh?
Have you ever played Soma?
No, I'm not into scary games, unfortunately.
It's not scary. Like,
it's really not that scary. Yeah. No, it's not a horror game with sure Soma. There's definitely some spooky stuff, but it's not. I don't know though. There's some pretty intense parts where you get chased by some weird stuff.
I also watched the whole thing on Scott.
Oh, okay, that's true. So that would kind of ruin it. Okay, well, keep an eye out. I mean, if you guys have any suggestions for Brad, hit him up.
Hey, I've tried.
Yeah,
but listen,
I played Bloodborne and I returned it the next day. So I mean, that should tell you.
We can find something. If you sat down and worked with me, we could find a game for you, dude. I promise.
I just imagine you going into like Katie has like a little office set up, like a fake office set up in his room. He's like, he's wearing like a bow tie, but he's wearing like his Zelda shirt that he has on right now. Like, thanks, we can. All right, so yeah,
a fidget spinner going on the desk.
Here. So what?
To help you relax.
Let's go. He opens up his little plastic holder for his note cards, and he's like, "All right, so we're gonna do a profile on you here. I'm gonna put these 3 flashcards. You tell me which title that you would prefer, and you just I'm telling you, Katie, it's actually could be
any
good business.
music you'd prefer, and I just have Dark Souls albums on the wall. Weeb music.
Oh,
this is my personal assistant. She has like pink hair.
And it's your body pillow propped up in a chair.
You can talk to her however you like. She's here to help.
Hold my calls. Hold my calls, okay? I'm with a client. You're just talking to your body pillow. All right. This is a skit that needs to happen. This is pretty good.
Oh my god, that's good.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. Yeah, me, I haven't really been switching up too much. Like I've been playing a decent amount of. I've been playing some Battlegrounds. I'm playing NBA Playground still, at least once or twice a week, and that game is still good. Definitely, at least local games. So they set it up so that you can set up a lobby and people can join your lobby and challenge you, and so it's not ranked and doesn't really keep track of stats. But that kind of has some host and connection issues, which I found out last week. So it's like whoever gets host generally has a pretty decent advantage because animations and stuff will sometimes happen, and you'll be like, "Oh, I dunked the ball," then it'll freeze, and then you'll be like, "Oh no, he stole the ball," and I just lost a couple points. So that's kind of annoying. But as far as like playing ranked and some of the other stuff, it's still a really solid game for $20. If you like NBA Street / NBA Jam kind of games, I do think that's a pretty good entry. And they've been updating it like once or twice a week consistently since it's come out, with like new players, with the gameplay is pretty fine-tuned at this point. I don't think they're going to change much about it, but it doesn't really have a huge player base on PC. I think like but I never have a problem finding games. Like sometimes you have to wait a couple minutes, but there's always at least somebody on to play against. So definitely check that out. I think that's really it. I'm trying to think if there's anything super special. I'm still playing through the Infectious Madness of Dr. Decker, which is I don't know if I've talked about this previously on the podcast, but it's an FMV game, text-based essentially, where you play as a basically a therapist who's the previous therapist who worked at the practice was murdered, and so you basically inherit his patients, and you're trying to get to the bottom of why, like what happened to him. And I'm doing a no hint run, which is if you type hint in the game and like you're kind of stuck of where to go next. Basically, you advance the dialogue with like sentences and trigger words, and it's $8. So it's not like a high budget game, but for what it is, it's definitely a fun kind of stream game because you can have a lot of fun interacting with the different characters, and some of the performances are decent, some of them are pretty bad. And so now it's just kind of like I'm 69% through the game, and I think I've logged. It tells you how many like sentence or questions you've asked total, and I think I'm like in the 3,000 question category. But I haven't asked for a hint a single time, and I've watched a lot of other not playthroughs, but when it first came out, I was watching people play it, and they were using hints all over the place. And so it's kind of just like at this point, I'm going to beat this game without ever asking for a hint. And so sometimes you'll be on one character for just like asking questions in so many different ways, trying to figure out like what the fuck do they want me to ask them and stuff like, and then when you finally get it, it's very satisfying. But it's definitely kind of turning into like a hate through where it's like I do want to know what's happening because some of the story stuff is interesting, but you do really, oh god, it gets very, very frustrating sometimes. So that's a kind of a fun little switch up game. It actually made me realize that I definitely want to try to pick up and play some more FMV style, kind of those older school kind of games, because those do offer quite a bit of entertainment. I think they're fun Twitch games. Cool. So I think that's it for me as far as what I've been playing. We do have to talk about, again, the KBMOD Extra Life LAN, which, Katie, when is that happening? Do you know off the top, or do you have to look at the document?
Not off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, that was a quiz. You failed. It's all right.
I failed.
But go ahead. Tell them.
Well, let me find it here.
Oh God!
I was not on the doc.
Oh, sorry.
So
okay.
Well, here we go. No, I was just kidding, guys. Of course I know. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. KBMOD's Extra Life LAN is going on August 18th through August 20th, all weekend. Gonna be playing some good ass games. Gonna be a lot of fun. Gonna be doing viewer challenges or donation goals. I don't know what the fuck a viewer challenge is. And this is actually I'll be honest, first time seeing this this pizza, this best frozen pizza thing. I feel like someone else would.
Well,
be better for
let
the
me.
That's not related to
There's nothing to do with the land.
All right, you know he's watching.
It's right under the land. What do you mean?
I know, but it's okay. No. Anyway, the Extra Life land is always a good time.
I have a feeling somebody's never looked at the duck.
I'm on the duck.
It's gonna be.
Look away.
Extra Life Land is exactly 2 months from now. So this is I believe this is the time where we would tell you to start budgeting for your donations. Right, you're 2 months out, so scrape a little bit extra with each paycheck. 2 months out, budget some donations for the kids. We'll have we'll have giveaways and everything as we always do. So make sure to put it on your calendar. It's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be right here on our Twitch channel, August 18th through 20th.
There you go. Thank you, Brandon. It's very concise and good. So what Katie was referring to is we have the forums have come back on the KBMOD website. Kind of new layout, new look. It's been pretty active. It's really cool. And there was a thread that's still people are still posting in quite a bit about the best frozen pizza.
Yeah, we don't just talk about games. So
of course not.
There's hardware, software, games, and of course food. And so with that being said, we have some really great discussions going. Like, what's the best frozen pizza? And I just wanted, maybe we'll continue doing this if we have some really spicy responses to some of these threads. So I want to read one by Colt Demand. Okay, so he replies to the whole thread. Hear me out. So if you have a few extra dollars and feel like throwing away your inhibitions into the wind, follow these steps. Step 1, buy 2 Jack's pizzas. We are talking $4, maybe $5.50 if they're not on sale. Step number 2, buy one of the 15-count things of pizza rolls at Walmart or a gas station. They're like $2, I'm pretty sure. Step number 3, cook the 2 pizzas, and then when they are done, microwave the pizza rolls. Step number 4, this is our final step, boys. Put the cooked pizza rolls spread out on one Jack's, flip the other one over, and press down. Cut and serve. I have done this for many years, and while it is disgusting sounding, you have to think about it. For $6-ish, you just made a solid 800 calorie meal. Thanks for stepping into my kitchen. It should be noted that if you buy in bulk pizza rolls, you get a better price and more pizza rolls for consumption.
Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds, I mean, he's basically making a Jack pizza, sandwich or quesadilla of sorts by flipping it over and then cutting it up like that. Kind of almost getting a quesadilla vibe out of that.
I mean, do not do this if you have some like gluten intolerance or whatever. Like,
I like that he's trying to frame this as like 800 calories for $6, and it's like, I mean, I don't know if anybody who's doing this is like needs to worry about how many. I think they're probably worrying about how many calories it is overall. It's like they shouldn't be eating 800 calories. I mean,
if you're looking on like a dollar per calorie basis, like fast food will get you there.
Exactly.
You can get some fast food that's got a ton of calories for $1 or $2. That doesn't mean that's what you want to eat.
Yeah, exactly. But that's interesting. He said he did allow us into his kitchen, so that was.
But for more discussions like that great one that we uncovered, go to forum.kbmod.com, sign up for an account. If you were previously on our forum before it got nuked and we did some changes to the site, you'll have to sign up for a new account, but that's okay. It's probably best that you change your passwords that often anyways. And join discussions like that. So
exactly.
Tell us about your frozen pizza tricks.
Yep. All right. So again, thanks Colt for that. And now let's move on a bit and go into some news and talk a little. We talked about E3 as it was panning out last week. Kind of ended right before the Bethesda press conference. But let's talk about now that it has, it happened.
Let's talk Bethesda first, because that was happening almost as we were ending last week.
Pretty much, yeah.
So they had a pretty short conference, or at least shorter than I thought it was going to be. It was only like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And they did some announcements around. I think I'll just go right into it. Like the most exciting thing I saw there was Wolfenstein 2, which I think came out kind of out of left field, or at least I guess it kind of maybe gotten leaked a little bit a few days before. But Wolfenstein 2 had like a really trippy trailer. It was edited in a super weird way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It had some really weird edits and was very trippy. Like if you go watch the trailer, there's a part where like they drop acid. I mean, just very weird things. Like not the same Wolfenstein vibe as the previous ones. So I would, with another game, I would maybe think that was weird. But I feel like the previous Wolfenstein games have had such a good story, like such an interesting single player narrative, that I guess this is fine. Like let Machine Games go wild with these Wolfenstein stories. And the other thing is it's out this year, so it's coming really soon, like in October, I think.
Yeah, I say go wild with the game, but that trailer was so incoherent that I could not follow. Like,
Brad, it was artsy, and you couldn't appreciate it because you are not a real art snob. Okay,
I know.
No, I don't know. No, it was. I had the same kind of feeling watching it. I was just kind of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to take away from this. Yeah. Like, what's going on?
It was a little all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, the edits of the trailer were very odd, but I think obviously when you're playing the game, it's not going to be this weird edit. And the gameplay they actually showed looked, it looked like Wolfenstein. You've got the dual wielding weapons that look ridiculous. It looked like they had taken a little bit of inspiration, if not literally like some of the code for like the Doom executions, because some of the stuff it looked more like Doom than the previous Wolfensteins did, which in my opinion is not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
Yeah, but you're right. Other than that, for Bethesda, it was basically a snooze fest, I think, is the kind. I mean, there was a Quake Champions $1 million tournament that's going to be happening at QuakeCon. So that's kind of, I mean, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is that's the only reason I even put it in here, because like that is a lot of money for a game that is not even out yet.
Yeah.
So
dude,
I mean,
Fatality's coming back, dude, out of pro gaming retirement.
I mean, $1 million purse is definitely that will pull the pros out, and get them practicing. But it's like I have this small worry that it's like it's just going to be money that's like trying to prop up an esports scene for that game. Like that's always the challenge is. Sometimes these games that have money before kind of the community has accepted them as an esport, can actually spell doom for it. So I mean, we'll see though. I think it gives people a reason to watch the QuakeCon tournament way above what they've had in previous years. Like the Quake Live championships that they've had were never for anywhere near that kind of money. So I mean, maybe it gets people excited with Quake Champions esports, but who knows? And the other stuff that they announced, kind of a return to like, it seemed like maybe this paid mods type deal. They announced Creation Club, which is like it's like more official support for mods and streamlined content. And
yeah, this isn't going to be as open as what the Steam platform is going to be. So I personally support this, because what this basically does is this introduces official mods, which you can buy, yes, but there's additional compliance that the modders have to follow. So no matter what, if you do Creation Club mods, your game will not break, like theoretically. Like they're saying if they adhere to our guidelines and they are part of our program, they're tested and made sure that if you have more than one of these mods installed, your experience is going to be decent. You're not going to have anything game breaking going on. And I personally like that. And you know what? The thing about mods too is like you don't have to download these. You don't have to buy them. You voice your support via your wallet and how you use it. So don't like it, don't buy it. Like, support modders that aren't part of this. But personally, I'm more about having a more streamlined process for installing mods. Like, some mods out there are such a pain in the ass to install that it has turned me away from like modding so many of my games. And I think this more streamlined process where it's just like I could just seriously download it and maybe pay like $1 that I really like for a mod I really like.
Yeah,
worth it. 100% for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder if this is sort of their foray into allowing mods or trying to get mods on consoles. Like if it's through this officially supported process,
well,
maybe that's something
you
that's
can't mod through consoles right now, which is crazy. Right? So you can mod your Fallout 4. I imagine that it right now with it anybody being able to put something on there is just a matter of like, well, my game's corrupted now. So
right. That's what I mean. It's not. I don't know that I'd feel safe in the current environment modding my console game. But if this is more of something that allows Bethesda to support mods in more of an official way, then I agree with you. Like right now, modding is different in every game. In some games it's easy, in most games it's challenging. So I guess we'll kind of have to see. We'll have to see what shakes out in terms of like the payment and stuff, right? If mod creators want to make stuff that's going to cost $10, $15, $20, like they're gonna. I mean, it's going to have to be really high quality stuff. Otherwise, I think people are just going to kind of ignore this.
Yeah. Okay.
That's pretty much it from Bethesda. Not a ton of stuff.
Let's talk about, Brad, you wanted to talk about, and I know Katie probably too, Nintendo, because they had a pretty damn good E3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Nintendo fan, Nintendo probably won E3 for you. Like that's just plain and simple. Because we're getting teased new Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rocket League is coming.
Rocket League
to the Switch, which I think was probably I think they just did it on the Switch just so people would shut up because there were so many people asking for this.
Yeah.
Since the announcement. Yeah. Which is that with PS4 and PC? Do we know the specifics on that yet? Actually,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like that doesn't mean it's not public knowledge though. Let me check real quick. It's cross-network play across each console and PC.
Okay.
Oh, so the same feature will be available across Switch, PC, and Xbox One, but not the PS4.
Oh, that's right.
Which is interesting. But
I feel like Rocket League is kind of the next Skyrim, and then it's like you just expect that to come out on all platforms eventually.
It's gonna be everywhere. Yeah.
Oh god. Well, part of this Nintendo E3 presentation was we got to see more of the Skyrim release of the Switch, which, keep in mind, it's not the remastered version. It is the original, as far as I can tell, the original version.
Yeah, it looks like
what they did at E3 was so horrible. So they are saying that they're supporting Amiibo, the little statue things that you can like like if I put Link from Legend of Zelda on my Switch, I will then get, like if it was Smash Bros or something, I would get like a Link special ability or something like that.
Dude,
or Mario Kart.
The Link armor set that came up when in the video they tapped the Link amiibo on the Skyrim on the Switch.
So your character gets a Link armor set and then a master set.
Dog shit. It looked like a
dog. Yeah, from the trailer, it looked fucking terrible. It looked
my God.
Like a shitty ass mod that someone did for like 10 minutes. Honestly, yeah, I'm with you. I thought it looked terrible.
Can I just ask? Is this a thing that people are actually interested in? This is like I don't look at this and think that, like, wow, oh my God, this is an E3 announcement.
Yeah.
For what? The Legend of Zelda on the Switch with the Amiibos?
Yeah, with the Amiibo stuff. Just like, is this something people actually get excited for?
Yeah.
At least when I was in college, people were basically they're more interested in Amiibos than they were like actual titles, which I found really interesting. But they were like a lot of collectors and things like that, and just having the special abilities. I don't know. But there was a culture behind that people traded Amiibos. I mean, it was all sorts of crazy stuff.
You just know just from being friends with them, or from experience, Brett?
Friends with them. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, but you'd only be friends with them if like you were trading with them as well, right? Otherwise, like you would have never even met them.
Right, exactly. Through my Craigslist postings.
Okay, all right, yeah. I figured there was more to the story.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to touch just a little bit more about Metroid news real quick. Like that was some of the best news like from Nintendo's conferences, because you got to consider like what Metroid fans have been through. The last new Metroid game they got was the one that was made by Team Ninja in 2010, Metroid Other M, which a lot of Metroid fans disliked. Then in 2016, after 6 years, you get Metroid Prime Federation Force, which is like a 3DS, like chibi style, like co-op shooter, which like got overwhelmingly negative backlash. And so to come out and not only announce Metroid Prime 4, as well as another all brand new game, which wasn't even in the conference, which you found out after. Metroid Samus Returns is an upcoming 3DS game, which is a full remake of the second Metroid game that also looks really cool. That comes out in September, so really soon. And it's just, so it kind of makes you like think, you remember when they did A2MR, that one fan remake of Metroid 2 that they shut down? Makes you kind of think maybe they did that to kind of not take the light away from, you know, the actual Metroid 2 remake they were working on, maybe. Just a thought, but it's got like new gameplay. Like Samus has melee attacks and she does melee finishers on some enemies, and it looks really baller. So I just wanted to touch on I was just really happy for Metroid fans because they've had to deal with a lot of shit, you know. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I think there's a new Mario game coming out, which of course they have to have one with every console.
Super Mario Odyssey. It looks really great.
It's just a safe IP for them. They just know they can crank those out every year. Every refresh of console, whatever it might be, they just know that they can pump one out, which I think looks fun. And then they're working with Ubisoft on a Mario and Rabbids game, which just looks like a ripoff of XCOM. Which I don't know, if you're into XCOM, you might like that. But other than that, I was really hoping for like an Animal Crossing personally, or any talk of. I don't think there's a Smash Bros on the Switch yet, is there?
No, they haven't announced it. It's rumored.
Yeah, so I mean, there are definitely some things I'm holding out on. Like I really am looking forward to, but Nintendo's really good about not pulling. They're good about announcing what's happening now rather than something happening in 2 years ahead of us. They recently failed with Legend of Zelda, for instance, but we all learned that the time we waited to get that release was well worth it. But that's still not to say that, you know, it probably was too long of a timeline for us to wait for that title. But anyways, so Bethesda and Nintendo were really good about announcing stuff that's happening this year. And I think as a Nintendo fan, I'm still hoping for like a new Animal Crossing or something like that. But I know that I could probably, in some Nintendo Direct we might get in the fall, or maybe next year's E3, we might hear more about something like that. But
yeah, they also announced that a main Pokemon RPG is in development for the Switch right now, and then also they announced,
which could mean anything, right? So I mean,
I don't think they're going to pull out a mystery. What?
They're pretty vague about that Pokemon RPG announcement, right? So.
Well, they said it was going to be a main RPG entry for Pokemon, so I don't think they're going to come out and be like, you know, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon on the Switch. I don't think they would do that after that. Maybe another. The kind of vibe I was getting was maybe another Pokemon XD or Coliseum style of game, like not really essential Pokemon, but still like an RPG. Like you're not really catching a lot. But
I just personally would love like a full-fledged Pokemon game like we would expect on the 3DS. like on the Switch with like full-fledged graphics. Personally.
Yeah, similar to what they're doing for like Fire Emblem Warriors. That's getting a simultaneous release on Switch and 3DS. I would love if they did something like that for another like main Pokemon game. They also said they're doing another full. The next Fire Emblem game is going to be on the Switch, and will probably be that, and Mario Odyssey might be what sells the system for me. Like if
Mario Odyssey looked, I mean, that picked my interest, and I don't give a shit about Mario or anything, but that looked actually pretty fun.
Yeah, that game looks really great.
Yeah,
I was really cheesing about that, and the new trailer they showed at the end of the presentation with that one musical track that people are really obsessed with now. Like, I'll be your one-up girl. Like,
yeah, that's right.
I'm listening to it. Like, it's crazy how like just hearing a song in a Mario game with English vocals. It was just kind of odd, which, I mean, there's a certain charm to it and spirit to it, you know, which I really admire. They also showed off this one 3DS game called Miitopia, which I thought was, probably not going to get it. It's kind of a dumb idea. I mean, a fun, dumb idea. I mean, it's an RPG where the party members you run into, you pick the Miis in your 3DS, like the people that you add in there, and you make them the party members. And like the idea is you make all of your friends from real life and all the characters in this RPG, and then you can kind of build their relationships, kind of like Persona. But it just looks kind of goofy, but I can dig it. And some people are
you're definitely gonna get that.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw that you could build relationships, I clicked for the pre-order button. You know, there actually is a demo on the store, but I haven't played it yet.
So did Sony have anything worth highlighting in here? Because that's the only real, like, news we haven't hit on now that E3 is over.
They did have one thing I was really interested in. They announced a full Shadow of the Colossus remake. I'm not sure if it's from. Yeah, it's being done by Blue Point Games, which is the same team that did the Uncharted remasters for PS4. The God of War remasters. They do a ton of reworks and stuff, but it looks like, I'm not sure if it's from the ground up or not, but it looks like it's in the same engine as what they did for The Last Guardian, which is good. You know, you put all that time into an engine, you don't want to just do it for one game, right? But it looks really faithful to the original, and it looks visually great. So I wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah.
And, but other than that, I was honestly,
Sony did not have the strongest. Yeah, they didn't have the strongest showing. I was saying that, I mean, they've been pretty much the winners the last couple of years, but I just feel like they kind of blew their IP load a bunch last year, because like we saw God of War again, right? Like the new style, third person, whatever, God of War
IP load
stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, and then also announced a bunch of new stuff, and a lot of it was retreads this year, so they don't like, because they slaughtered last year, and I just feel like they didn't have as many things this year to be able to bring to it. So I don't know. I kind of give them a mulligan on this, because you can't slay like that every single.
Exactly.
But they always have a really, like, the way that they do their stuff, and it's just game to game to game. Yeah, I mean that model works really well. I like how how they do it.
I found myself really appreciating the Xbox conference a lot, because it was strictly, let's talk about the Xbox One X, and then it was trailer after trailer after trailer. It wasn't like, not a lot of time was wasted. I mean, the only reason I'm thinking I'm kind of weighing Nintendo over Xbox right now for E3, because 90% of what they showed on Xbox One for their conference isn't exclusive. Like, that's going to be on either PC or PS4 also. So,
yep.
Okay. Were you gonna say something, Brandon?
All right.
No, I was just gonna ask Scott. You know, before we get out of E3 news here, since you seem to be a little down on the Sony conference, how about you tell me who won E3?
Who won E3? Man,
it's tough.
That is difficult.
Because honestly, why even have E3 if not to deign winners and losers? So,
True.
So I need to know who won E3.
For me, honestly, for what I care about, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds won E3 for me. Literally, the Vault news, the AUG, for me, gaming wise, that's the only thing I actually truly gave a shit about.
I guess
so that's
we didn't exactly
I will
recap
tell you.
the PC gaming show, but there was like
We didn't.
there was
some good
interesting stuff there, but I feel like a lot of it got sort of hit on in other conferences, or there were like some smaller games. But yeah, anyway, you were saying,
You know who
Brad?
won E3? Jesse Wellens.
Oh God, yes, Jesse Wellens.
Oh my
That
god!
honestly, that EA press conference failure was one of the highlights of the whole show for sure.
Oh, that was great.
That freeze, man. God bless.
It's just a good reminder to E3 and everyone else out there that quote unquote influencers don't always make great hosts. Which we talked about it, I think I don't know if we talked about it actually, but iJustine, for instance, like they had to like type up just like banter for her or something like that. We saw on Twitter like screenshots of people taking pictures of the teleprompters of just like generic banter. And it's like, I get it, they're a popular face, but
what was everyone's like favorite game, or game that we can't play today because otherwise it would probably be PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Wolfenstein 2. I think Wolfenstein 2 is just that's the one game out of all of these that like I'm confident I'm going to buy. Some of the other games look interesting. Like Anthem looked like it could be interesting, but it's a pretty long way away. So it's like I can't get that excited about it when we just don't know enough details. So Wolfenstein 2 is only a few months out, and what they showed was just like crazy and wild enough to get me excited for it in a way that I wasn't before.
I think if I had to pick one game to put in my hands right now, like before anything else, the new Dragon Ball Z fighting game looks incredible. Like it looks like really, really well made, beautiful, and
you can't see me, but I'm rolling my eyes right now. But anyways,
it's going to be. That does well. I've heard a lot of hype around that, especially from
it looks like a really fucking good fighting game
fans.
I don't even watch Dragon Ball Z, and I want to play that. But honestly, what was I gonna say? I have like a document on my phone of like, so I really wasn't expecting to see Tacoma again because I've been excited for that game for a while, but they brought it back, and I think it's an August release, right? So yeah, it's not too far away. I really want.
I actually really liked for the Ubisoft conference. I did like the look of that pirate game that they showed. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I actually liked the way that the combat looked with the ships and stuff like that. I kind of was Skull and Bones. I was a little disappointed by I thought it looks like the whole boarding. It looked like it's just basically ship combat. It doesn't look like there's much in the way of anything hand to hand because it just you cripple a ship and you board it and it plays an animation. I don't know if we'll see more down the road, but I actually really like the way that the combat looked in that. That looks like it has potential to be fun.
Sea of Thieves also looked really impressive. I thought.
Yeah, that's right. Sea of Thieves.
So they can learn how to eat a banana. I'm not going to buy it.
That's true. Did any of you watch the Devolver Digital conference?
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty wild stuff.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I left more confused than I came in.
Yeah. It's a mind fuck in half.
If I had to pick who won E3, I mean, I think I enjoyed the Xbox conference the most, but I'm not about to go out and buy an Xbox. If it's like which conference influenced my purchasing of games the most, it'd probably be Nintendo. But yeah, everything I was excited for in the Xbox conference, I can play somewhere else. So,
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, they didn't really do a good job. It's exclusive to the PC and the new Xbox.
Exactly. Yeah.
Got them. So yeah, it's they didn't really do a good job of actually selling their new hardware. Especially, I mean, obviously, if you're a PC gamer, it doesn't really matter. But
exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. We talked about that last week too. But
for me, I think it's. I would probably say I'm really looking forward to Battlefront 2. I'd hate to say it just because their presentation was really cheesy, but I want to play Need for Speed Payback just for the customization. I think it's crazy, but it reminded me of like Underground 2. Anthem, I think, is going to be good because that's the team behind Mass Effect making that game. Sorry, I'm giving a. So who won for me? I think was
who won? Tell me.
I'm probably gonna go with Far Cry, even though they did that early, but they released 2 new trailers E3 week, so I'm pumped.
Yeah, the new Far Cry does look really good. The
setting you decided to fight in your homeland.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, I overall though, for me, I guess it didn't last year. I think the Sony press conference was so good that it was like there was just a super clear winner. I think it's pretty clear that none of us think Sony actually. Sony probably maybe the definitely not the winner this year, but they did okay.
They did show
kind of coming off the high of that press conference to this year, it kind of the whole thing fuddled a little bit because I don't really care about Nintendo stuff. So for me, that's what I'm saying. I guess me coming back and saying Battlegrounds is just a result of me just being a PC gamer for the most part anyway. So it's like none of the other stuff really.
Never been a better time to be a PC gamer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Absolutely. Okay. They did show a new Monster Hunter though, which
that's true. And also, the new Monster Hunter, and then also the new Spider-Man game for to close out looked. It looked really good. I mean, that was just They showed off a lot of cool parts of the game. The combat looks really fun. Visually, it's pretty. It's pretty. It looks like it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, dude, I love QTEs.
Well, okay.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, it looks good, but a few too many.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, maybe you give them that feedback. Maybe they'll fix it before they release it. Just tell them you're from KBMOD and you don't like QTEs.
Oh, I'm an influencer. You don't want me influencing our viewership.
I completely forgot about this. Somebody in chat said Metro Exodus, which does look good.
Yeah,
that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Open world. It's open world.
It is open world. Yeah. That's crazy. So speaking of shutting down, what were we just talking about?
No one said
I lost it. No. We just had something.
You could have said, speaking of open world, GTA.
No. I already had one. I was set on one.
Oh no, KD.
It wasn't Monster Hunter.
You said speaking of shutdown, though.
Dude, hold on. I need to rewind.
God, you had so many chances.
You missed your chance. Oof.
I just want to know where you were going with I think you were reading the document and you said
no.
We had shutdown.
What were we talking about? I can't believe I lost it. Hold on. Okay, let's continue. Someone else take this while I research our. Oh my god.
Segue.
Well, Metro Exodus might have an open world. The world of GTA is being closed down a little bit.
Oh, beautiful.
That was good.
As Take-Two, this is actually this made the rounds a bunch this week, even with all the E3 hubbub. Because Take-Two issued a cease and desist to I think now more than one modding tool. I've been trying to keep up with it, but they a popular modding tool got issued a cease and desist from Take-Two, and they basically said look, we can't really afford to fight this, so they have to shut down. And if anyone's been paying attention recently, the GTA roleplay stuff has been blowing up, and can only do that with the help of mods. So the community, as the community does, has responded by giving GTA 5 a bunch of 1-star reviews on Steam, because that's how you stage a digital protest in 2017. But it's kind of, it's a tricky situation, right? Because I think in most games people wouldn't have this kind of visceral reaction, but because you have this mod that I don't know enough about the mods to say, but they Take-Two said that they have to, that the mod is called OpenIV, and they say it's they're not targeting single player mods, but it enables, this is their quote, enables recent malicious mods that allow harassment of players and interfere with the GTA Online experience for everybody. They say, we are working to figure out how we can continue to support the creative community without negatively impacting our players, which is, kind of, I guess, trying to appease people that care about the single-player mods, which is what the role players use, I think, right? They're modding single-player.
For the most part, but there are people that are like getting into online, and I have had more than one occasion that it's been ruined by like somebody hacking a lobby or like modding or like messing with other people's experiences, to the point where they're somehow making me dance, or they're like spawning shit on me, or they're giving me mass amount of money, which you'd think would be okay, but actually can get you banned in Rockstar Online. So, there's a lot going on here, and it is ruining experiences for online people. But I think just shutting it all down was probably not the way to go, right?
No, I mean, the other side of it. So for Open 4 or whatever, like the creators and the lead developer have said that the statement from Take-Two is actually incorrect, and that they don't. Like, their direct response to, unfortunately, Open 4 enables recent malicious mods that allow harassment, blah, blah, blah. The thing you just read, they said this is just wrong, and they know it. Open 4 does not allow or support any kind of GTA Online mods. We've always supported blah. And basically, so they're just saying that, and that they could go to court, they could fight it, but it's like, for what? Like, what are we going to get out of it? We're going to be in court for months. We're going to lose. Like, it's just, there's nothing we can do, like, if they decide to shut us down like this. So, again, I'm not saying that. I don't know. Like, I don't know enough technically to say, like, I mean, he's basically just denying that. It's interesting that the developers are just basically saying that that's not true, that it's just PR speak for them to say, like, just shut it down, right? We don't want to.
It's tough to know, because I don't know the technical details enough to say whether that mod, can do the things Take-Two is saying it can do.
Right.
It's a little bit hard for me to imagine that they couldn't tighten things up without issuing this kind of collateral damage. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's a shame, because like, I'm sure there could be well-meaning people inside of Take-Two where they're just looking at it and like, the GTA Online community, that is important to their business. They want to protect that experience, and I understand that. But also, if they had ulterior motives at all, like, this would be a convenient excuse, right? So I kind of understand both sides. I think hopefully though, I mean, the statement they made though does at least say that they're aware that like there's a creative community around GTA, which did not really exist that much, when it came out on PC. So I hope that they find some way to kind of more officially support the cool things that are happening with their game, because it would be a shame if that all stalls just because of this issue, right? Just because you take away the tools from the single player modders, because they can also be used by the GTA Online modders to to ruin people's online experience. Kind of a thorny situation. They have a change.org petition, which normally are obviously in varying quality, but this one has 46,000 signatures, which feels like a lot to me for something this niche, like a mod for GTA 5. Having 46,000 signatures, that's kind of a statement, I would say.
Yeah, it seems pretty big.
Yeah.
So I'm sure this probably isn't the last we've heard about it, but I can't.
I mean, definitely though, the best way to show that you're upset is to rate a game on Steam for the fact that the mod tools got taken away that were third party in the first place, and fairly rate the game and get it into 20% or whatever the fuck they did. That's a really mature way to deal with it. So,
I mean, it is sitting.
Petitions always work too. People love petitions, so just keep signing those fucking online petitions. Honestly, if it weren't for online petitions, man, we wouldn't have vaccines. We wouldn't have electricity. It's fucking incredible how these activists online have really changed the game. Net neutrality, all of this stuff. Honestly, petitions, man. They helped us. They've helped us with everything.
I mean, we only have the internet. We only have the internet because of online petitions.
Exactly. It was just we petitioned it into existence. Well, of course, Al Gore as well. But anyway.
Yeah, Al Gore started the petition. Everyone knows that.
Yeah, he was the origin, and also the inspiration for the book Love Story. But I don't know. That's more my issue with it, which I understand. Like, I get it. I guess this is the way that they feel like they can kind of fight back against Take-Two. And who knows? Maybe I'm obviously kidding about the petition stuff, but it kind of does strike me as a little bit unfair to tank I mean, not that I don't think people look at that and go, like, everyone knows about Grand Theft Auto and how critically acclaimed it is. I don't think anybody's not going to buy the game and be like, yeah, what happened? I mean, maybe it's just, I guess it will raise awareness for this issue, because then people will go into the comments and be like, okay.
It at least, I mean, it gets, as much as I don't agree with the tactics, it does get the attention of the publisher. Like, they care about those reviews a lot. They don't want to lose sales because of something that's not accurate. And ultimately, it's like it was their doing, right? Whether you like the tactics or not, they caused it by issuing the C&D in the first place. So
that's true. You're right.
I have to imagine they probably expected some of this backlash, but it's kind of a shame they didn't have. I think it's a shame they didn't have like a more comprehensive response. Yeah. But of course, I mean that's what we always see with these kinds of responses. It's like vague language, and ultimately they did this for a reason. And we don't know the true reason or reasons because we don't work there. We need an agent on the inside. Katie, we need start hitting up your contacts. Yeah, we need a leaker. We do. Yeah. We need to have somebody leak what's going on inside of Take-Two. Katie, you'll find them and report back next week. So along with your homework to try the naked chicken chips, I need you to get somebody to leak information from inside of Take-Two about this whole modded situation.
I'll recruit somebody as I'm eating it.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Also, I remembered what my segue was going to be, and it's much worse. I really don't want to say it.
Do it now. After all this time, you have to go ahead.
So we were talking about the QTEs and Spider-Man, about how I would like if they were removed. I was going to say, yeah, I'd really love if those QTEs were shut down. Much like the massive mod tool. See,
okay, you're right. I'm sorry that
I'm just terrible at saying it. Like,
all right.
Wow.
They're hard. I'm glad you were able to segue there. Yeah. See, so I just felt like you guys had the right to know that never to let me do a segue ever again.
You're banned from segues.
Yeah, for at least a little bit. See, the thing is, you'll once in a while have a real good one, but then I don't know.
I think we need to workshop some of these segues offline. The fact that you waste our viewers' time with these failed segues is really embarrassing.
Everyone listening, I want to formally apologize to you guys.
Well, see, that's the thing is now they're not listening, so they'll never have heard your apology because they've already shut us off.
If only there was some way we could re-release this podcast with updated features. Speaking of games that are being re-released with updated features.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's what I mean.
Redemption.
A little bit of redemption. A little bit. It was pretty decent.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are you talking about the fact that there have been job openings?
Like throwing the basketball off the backboard and then trying to lay it up yourself.
Yeah.
There have been some job openings in regards to Warcraft 3 and Diablo 2 remasters on the website, saying hinting that those things are coming. Not just hinting, but basically saying that they are. Does basically, well, it doesn't say it straight up, but implement, maintain, and own infrastructure for the Diablo franchise is one of the senior software engineer posts.
It's like looking into the wording of this software engineer job posting. I think it makes sense. Like, I'm sure that they probably looked at the reception for StarCraft Remastered, and they have Blizzard has this long history of popular games. Like, why wouldn't you remaster the other games too?
Right.
Because it seems like you'd have to kind of set up a pipeline for that stuff anyway, right? If you're going to just remaster assets for StarCraft, like you could presumably do the same thing with Warcraft and Diablo and stuff. and you already have artists and you know whoever all is involved. I'm sure it's not a small project, but once you do it once for StarCraft, it seems like you could probably reuse a lot of the same processes, a lot of the same people to redo the other old games. And so I mean that makes sense to me.
It does. Yeah, definitely a logical step for them to do. So just keep that on your radar if that's something that excites you. And then
also,
moving on,
we have BlizzCon coming up in a few months, so like they're going to need some type of big announcement at BlizzCon. I don't know that this is like a big announcement, but this seems like something we might hear about at BlizzCon if it's happening.
Yeah. Speaking of the word happening, I know what's happening in Katie's pants right now, and they are being tented because I'm about to say Yakuza and Persona right now, and I know
Yakuza.
Oh, Yakuza. I said Yakuza.
Yakuza. Well, it was tented, but now it's flaccid.
Well, that was Yakuza, and that's Banjo-Kazooie combined, and they're going to do a crossover game.
Think about that crossover.
Yakuza.
Wow.
Dude, that would be because
man.
Yakuza's already weird as fuck, but you imagine Banjo in there?
Oh my god. And then he's like really like Banjo-Kazooie in there, but they're all really respected by the other mob bosses. And they're like, what's this bear and a bird gonna do? Then he just unloads a full clip into an entire mob of people.
That would be badass.
Think about that.
We need that game.
Honestly, not a bad crossover idea.
It actually would work.
Man. Banjo Killy. No. There's Banjo Yakui? No.
Yakuza.
Banjo Yakuza.
Yeah.
No, I
okay.
think Banjo it even. I think you just Yakuza.
But what is the actual news here, Scott?
Okay, sorry. All that to say, basically those games, Persona and Yakuza, are games that are on a list that Sega wants to bring to PC. It's not a guarantee, but the quote as it reads is, of course it's something that we're talking about. That would just be incredible to bring that to a PC audience. So while that isn't a promise necessarily, it does sound like Sega is definitely looking into that. So I mean, that would be exciting to have those on PC.
They've done Bayonetta and Vanquish, so it seems like this seems like something they're interested in, is like bringing some of those titles to PC.
Yeah. You know, I think if they did a Persona 5 port to PC, I wouldn't pick it up after already dropping like 60 hours into it so far. I think now, ideally, let's say if I could just pull the strings, I could be like armchair CEO. I would say they did this game a while ago, Persona 4 Arena, where they had the Guilty Gear developers make a fighting game of all the Persona characters, and they recently bought the copyright for Persona 5 Arena. It was like they bought the website domain for like P5A, which Persona 4 Arena, they stylize it as P4A, so people assume that. Like if that came to PC, I would be a very happy, tented individual.
Tented. There we go.
Tented. Yeah. Now that is the complete opposite of missionary position gaming. That would be.
That's right.
Be great.
Okay.
But yeah,
those were just some quick hits. But I think now, Katie, you're going to hit us with those crispy new releases.
From games that might come to the PC to games that are releasing on the PC this week. Katie, why don't you tell us about the new releases?
Let's do it, baby. First up this week is a game called Nex Machina. It's made by House Marquee. You might remember them from a game that came out in 2014 called Outland. It was like a 2D hack and slash where you could switch between like red and blue. All right, moving
Never
on.
heard of it.
You probably
tell us about this game. I just haven't heard of.
You probably don't know the name, but you remember. You probably like Let me just try something out. Have you ever seen a game? Guy with a sword. He switches between being color. No, listen. I guarantee you might have seen it somewhere.
Are you trolling me? Okay, all right.
No.
Okay.
Side scroller, guy's doing hack and slash, and he switches between the color red and blue.
Okay.
And some projectiles won't hurt him if he's the same color as him. Anything at all? It had its little 5 minutes of fame. Okay, all right. Well, I didn't play it, but I know about it. And it's the next new game from them after 3 years. It's a twin stick shooter that looks they call it a distant cable punk themed future. I would have never thought of cable punk. I was thinking, cyberpunk, steampunk. Cable punk looks pretty cool. And going from the gameplay at the trailer, it looks pretty fun.
Like a 3D bullet hell game.
Yeah, getting I always want to say I'm getting like Super Stardust HD vibes from this, even though that's the only like twin stick shooter I really put a lot of time into. But no, this existed a long time before that game, David. No, but that comes out June 20th. It's going to be $20, but if you pre-order it, or no, it'll actually be going until July 5th. You can get it for 20% off, which is a pretty good deal. And if you own Outland on Steam, you get an additional 10% off. So boom. And yeah, next up, Final Fantasy XIV is getting its latest expansion, Stormblood, which I don't think any of us have played, have we? Or no?
I haven't, but I've heard this is a thing that's coming.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just go through the quick list of new things they're adding. They're increasing the level cap to 70, which is 10 more levels. There's new exploration with swimming and diving, 2 new jobs, changes to the battle system, new areas, new dungeons, new primals and beastmen, new alliance raid, new gear, yada yada yada. Everything you'd pretty much expect from, a new expansion. So from what I'm seeing here, it's 40 for the standard edition and then 60 for the collector's edition of 14, which that's on top of a subscription. Although I did hear they have like a free trial you can do for it now up until a certain level, so I want to try that out. But yeah, that releases also on June 20th. Okay, and next up, yeah, let me see. Next up, I closed the tab. Let's open this back up. Usual obscure indie game. It's called Sakuretsu, I think. It's capital S-A-K. Yeah, Sakuretsu. If they're going for like a Japanese thing, I'm pretty sure it'd be like Sakuretsu. But it's a open world retro RPG. And when I say retro, I don't mean like what you would normally expect.
I like that you use the term open world to describe this game.
I'm just saying what they put on the Steam page, man. They call it open world, so let's go what they're advertising.
I mean, I guess a lot of Game Boy games from back in the day were actually open world games.
I mean,
yeah, hey, like original Zelda. I guess you could call it open world. Yeah,
I guess so.
Pong.
This is literally like Pokemon Yellow. Like somebody took the engine and then
yeah. This looks straight out of the Game Boy. No, not the Game Boy Color, original Game Boy. But what's appealing to me is the premise. You're stuck in this place between life and death, and you're trying to uncover the truth of how you died. And a lot of the monsters you run into are really out there, disgusting abominations, pretty interesting, and you can kind of recruit them. It's got an item-based combat system. I'll take their word on it. Hope it's really cool. For some reason, it requires 8 gigabytes of RAM to run this game, which is mind-boggling. I don't think the Game Boy had 8 gigabytes of RAM. Probably wasn't even feasible back then. But this comes out on June 21st. No word on a price yet.
There's 8 gigs of RAM, but you can play it on an AMD Athlon 2.
Yeah, that's a little...
That's a unique. 7. That is a unique old system for you.
And your OS is Windows 7.
That's good. That's good for me.
I'm fairly confident that Windows 98 could handle a game looking like this. Yeah, but yeah, I'm would be kind of. What am I trying to say? Don't take this release date as the final word, because at one point on the page it says June 16th is going to be the release date, but the actual like purchase place on the page says June 21st. So that could very well change pretty soon, as indie games on Steam are wont to do. But yeah, this is one I'm going to keep an eye out for. Looks interesting. And lastly is a game called Get Even.
This last one looks very... This one I think I'm going to have to play. This looks... I mean, it is $30, but looks very interesting.
Yeah, it's $30. It's a first-person horror game.
Yeah.
You wake up in an asylum going through a supposed treatment, which you have like a headset on that allows you to relive memories and experience them again in the present. And so you try to, let me see, you go into the depths of your mind. I'm not a lot to really take from this about this game. It's just really,
I was like really into it, but the more I look at the screenshots and then I go, this is a third. I mean, obviously, I guess the screenshots are from the game, but $30. This, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely, if I get a key, maybe I'll try to get a key.
Yeah, if you get a key, check it out.
It does look interesting. Looks like so like you're holding up your phone to like with a map, I guess, or something to figure out where to go. But
yeah, you've in some screenshots you're using it as a camera, a map, and in a couple screenshots you actually have a gun.
Yes,
so
true.
I'm not sure if there's like combat
Can I just read the description?
Yes.
It's this is in quotes. Take a deep breath. Try to remember. A hurl, a chair, a bomb. Just keep calm. This is, I'm not making this up. Follow the voice into the depths of your memory. Relax and search for the darkest memories in the deepest recesses of your mind. Can you find her? The clock is ticking, and this is just part of the treatment. There you go. So, not much to go on. Not much to go on, but
wow. I don't think the person who wrote that had, like, they probably didn't sit down and think, I want the person who reads this to want to purchase this game.
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, after I read it, though, I'm assuming that if you can pre-order it right now, I'm sure everybody in the chat just bought it. It's a lot of sales.
Instantly. Yeah, it's being made by The Farm 51. You might remember them from such classics as Painkiller, Hell and Damnation, or Deadfall Adventure, which, they did some stuff with THQ Nordic, but now they're being published by Bandai Namco.
Okay.
But yeah, June 22nd, and that is the last of our new releases. Let's jump into some viewer questions.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Our first viewer question comes from Brian via email, and he asks us, if you could have an unlimited use, buy one, get one free coupon for any fast food item, past or present, discontinued is allowed, what would you choose and why? Man, that is a tough question.
Obvious.
Wait, how is it, if it's discontinued, how can I buy one and get one free?
I think
he's just saying theoretically.
Okay. So every time, it's unlimited use, but I always have to buy one.
Yes.
So like I would still have to buy a bunch of them, but I get the second one free.
You always get it free.
Okay.
The thing is, my mind jumps to country fried steak. But at the same time, I get one of those and I'm filled. Like, I don't want to.
I don't think country fried steak.
That's not quite. I don't think that's fast food.
That's right. Oh, I missed that.
That's. Yeah. I like where your head's at, but
your heart's in the right place.
A little too highbrow for this question.
In college, we got buy one get one Chipotle, and that was pretty baller.
That's actually a pretty good one, because Chipotle, like a Chipotle burrito, it's like $7-8.
It's pretty good.
Yep.
That's pretty good value.
Yep. And so it's always like, so I had a bunch of those, and we just take turns. Like, I'm gonna go to Chipotle, and then I'd get my buddy one for free, or my buddy would get me one for free.
Right.
It was pretty awesome. And I mean, like, talk about getting full. Holy shit. Like, sometimes, like, they go ham on Chipotle burritos. So
I kind of like that one too, because Chipotle is one of those meals where you could buy, like, you could have two for yourself. You eat one now, and then you just put the other one in the fridge to have later. So it's like, it's such a good refrigerator and the heated up later food. I actually think that is the real answer here. Like, I would absolutely buy one, get one free, unlimited use Chipotle.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't. I mean, that's hard to beat. I was trying to think of like discontinued items but I can't really think of anything that. Baja Blast, which is not discontinued though, it's still at Taco Bell, so it doesn't.
But hold on,
that's every time
you get one Baja Blast, you want one for free.
I do. Honestly, even saying it, I was like, at first that sounds. I'm not talking about being the smartest with your money.
You want Taco Bell to put you in the grave even faster?
I do, dude. I would just collect every time I would get it, and I would just pour it into a giant barrel and let it age for until it ate through the barrel. Let it barrel age a little bit more. Yeah, just give me more Baja Blast. To be honest, no, but real answer, I definitely Chipotle's a good one. Katie, did you think of anything else that came to fast food wise?
I'm thinking my head's in like dessert right now. Like I'm thinking, what fast food place has the best desserts?
But you want 2 desserts every time you go to a fast food place?
Well, the thing with desserts is that I can store them, and like I can freeze them.
Wait.
What was funny just now?
You can't store other foods? What do you mean, like longer than other foods?
Well, here's the thing. Like if you buy
like
food,
you mean like a cold dessert?
Yeah, like cold dessert.
Okay,
like if you buy food, you have to refrigerate it and reheat it if you want it for later. If you get like something frozen, you can just instantly put it in the freezer and it'll have like minimal difference from when you originally get it. So I'm thinking
Katie then just lives a different life than I do. I just can't get.
Katie's just thinking about what he can store for the longest. Like he's he's gonna build up his entire life around this strategy.
I don't get what's so out there about this.
So which desserts then? Which dessert are you going for here?
What dessert would it be?
Well, right now I'm thinking like a Jack in the Box is really good. Milkshakes, Steak in the Shake does. Or, no, Dairy Queen.
Wait, you're gonna get a milkshake? Milkshakes, you can't keep that the same consistency.
That's true.
That's a rookie mistake.
Well,
be good.
The fridge isn't cold enough. The freezer's too cold.
Yeah. That's true. What about like a Blizzard from Dairy Queen? I've had good luck with those. Like,
Kitty, if you're gonna go for the angle of dessert and then offer up a Blizzard or a milkshake as your example, I think this falls apart. Now, if you're gonna go with something like, I don't know, but even desserts though, a lot of them are hot. Like
a lot of them are warm. That's why when you initially said that, I was thinking that you're gonna like stroll into a McDonald's and grab 2 apple pies instead of 1.
Yeah.
And that you're like saying that was gonna keep, and I was trying to figure out where your head was at.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just tricky for me because I don't want to pick something too cheap because then the value isn't really there. But if I get like something huge, buy one get one free, then I'm probably not going to even finish the second one. I'm trying to find a good balance.
Yeah. Well, if it's unlimited use, then I guess really you could use this also just on something that you always get at that fast food place. So like even if you go to Taco Bell or something and you say, I want to do buy one get one free on like I don't know, soft taco supreme or something, right? Something that's just like that you can always count on and you probably want more than one of, then you basically are just always going to get your meal for half price.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe something like that. I'm thinking they had this one drink at Wendy's that was the like tropical mango green tea kind of deal, which they discontinued. If they brought
you'd want 2 of those.
Yeah. Well, not at the same time. Like now, that's a beverage that you can refrigerate.
I'm with you with beverage, man. Sometimes you just want another beverage. You want options. Have it for later.
That stuff's delicious, but it's like a full size of those is like $3.99, which I mean, for a beverage, I wouldn't really. I have a hard time justifying that. Like buy one get one free, I think I'd go for. But it's a tricky question for me. I suck at all opinions relating to food, and I feel like everyone knows this.
Okay. All right. Well, that was a good question by Brian. Some good discussion. I mean, definitely not an easy answer though. I think Brad kind of, as far as like getting the most value and also having something that's good later. It's pretty good. So, Darkwing02 asks us, can we get an extra life donation incentive that involves Brandon drinking a bottle of mug root beer and Scott eating an IHOP steak?
Oh man,
I thought this was good because those are both very. It would have to be a high donation incentive I think for Brandon to do that, and especially for me to eat. First of all, you know how I feel about IHOP. To eat a steak
kind of depends on the size of the bottle, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that I don't really feel like that's a great incentive, because I mean I've had mug root beer before, you know, almost accidentally. I don't like it. It's not my preference, but I feel like donation incentives, you know, like I got to give up something. There's got to be something that's not exactly what I want to do. I mean, like last year I dabbed for charity. I feel like I would happily drink a bottle of mug root beer instead of dabbing.
What if we up the stakes and it's you have to drink a 2-liter?
The thing is, I don't think I could do that. like I can't.
I'm not saying not in one sitting. Like let's say maybe over the course of like an hour.
I mean,
hour and a half.
I don't know.
Because then it becomes almost a game of, because yeah, sure, you can drink a can of mug root beer. You could drink a 20-ounce.
But
a 2-liter.
That's no. I don't know. I don't know that I could physically do that. It's not. My concern is not with the taste. It's that like 2 liters of soda, I could eat through my stomach lining. I don't do that in my daily life. But maybe that's getting closer to a.
I'm just saying we need to get it to something a little bit more extreme. That's
why do you? But why do you get to eat the IHOP steak? I'll eat an IHOP steak for charity. Are you kidding me?
I'm saying because this goes against all my. As much as I laud Dennys over IHOP, I don't like to be in the establishment. I sure as hell, if I'm going to be there, I might as well get pancakes. So to order a steak on top of it, it's everything. It's. I'm not saying it would be the worst thing. It's more just me. Not that I.
I don't think for a donation incentive, assuming we're talking about a reasonable amount of money here, like I'll eat anything at IHOP for a donation incentive.
Okay.
You can't, because it's not. I mean, there's nothing exotic at IHOP, right? There's no like bull testicle or something fear factor. Like anything you can put on my plate at IHOP, I'll probably like.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm gonna love it. I wouldn't go to IHOP for a steak, but as a donation incentive. Like you're treating me to a steak. I mean, I'll eat it, sure.
Okay. I mean, I'm saying I'm keeping an open mind. We can up the ante a little bit, but okay. But basically, what we're saying is we would be open to both of these things. Yeah, for sure.
I think those are creative enough and not not life threatening, except for the 2 liters that Scott suggested.
Yeah, maybe that's a little too extreme. We'll find you the elusive mug 1 liter glass bottle sugarcane version, which doesn't exist.
That's a good callback. If you have ideas for donation incentives, you should tweet them at us, because we're coming up with that stuff now. So if there are things that you would donate for, if we did them, then tweet to us and let us know, and we'll consider it.
All right, thank you, Dark, for that question. And then finally, we're gonna wrap up the questions with Killer Bob, who says, if you could turn any video game into a drug and use it, what game would it be?
Bloodborne, because that game is literally about drugs.
What would happen if you used it?
But what would happen to you if you
well,
what would the effects be?
Probably
good trips. I do not think of Bloodborne.
Yeah, I was gonna say that seems like
listen, everybody Healing Church had some shit going on. They had that blood. Everybody was on that blood. They were living longer. Listen, dude. Oh, I'm sorry. None of you played Bloodborne. I can't have this conversation.
This seems really like blood. Every time you said it, your inflection.
Said blood. Your face lit up. Your face lit up.
Well, I wouldn't be. Well, how would you take the drug? How would you take this video game?
Well, I mean, it's more. I think the whole idea of the question is the spirit of like. So if you were to like, let's say, I don't know, just say let's say Super Mario. Like a Super Mario game or whatever, any of the franchises. Like it would be like, to me, that would be like a mushroom-induced kind of like trip where it would just be, or like what if you a Resident Evil? Like that would not be. I don't think that would be a pleasant experience. I think that would be terrifying.
Yeah.
So I'm like that's how I'm thinking about how it would affect you. I don't know. I guess we can interpret the question any way that we want. Well, so I would want something that's like mine's easy. Mine's Dead or Alive Extreme. Beach volleyball. That would be my drug. Okay. So you can do with that with what you will, but that whatever would happen, if it takes me to a land of the island, that sounds like a fun time.
Any of the Sakura visual novels.
There you go. See, now you're thinking.
Let me see.
I'm gonna say just because it's on my mind, I'm gonna say PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, because I can think of exactly like when I get shot, that's when I would sort of wake up and like come off the trip. And so I get to stay in the trip as long as I don't die in the game. And then if I win, I get to see past the screen that stops the game right now. Like what does PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds turn into if there is no ending screen?
If there's no chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
Like I might get to eat the chicken dinner. Like I get to experience the island in a post-winning state.
But you're all alone because you've killed everybody else.
We don't know that. No, we only know that I've killed all the other combatants, all the other entrants.
Yeah.
So you think they're like hiding out underground, or you think
I don't know. That's why I'm saying I want to give this a shot. Some of you might want to go into some crazy fictional world. I want to go into a world where like I can do things from the real world that I can't do because they have real world consequences, right? I don't want to die in real life. But if I can be on a trip where like it sort of I get that same feeling, that same sensation, and then I just come out of it if I die, I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
Or Banjo-Kazooie. I don't know.
That's a good one too. Yeah. Silent Hill. That's a terrible choice.
Yeah,
I'm
that
just
would be
thinking
awful.
bad choices.
I like the idea of like these drugs being turned in, or these games being turned into drugs, and then like so you get them on the street or whatever, and then be like, man, you think you're picking up Super Mario Sunshine, and then someone slips you the Silent Hill.
And maybe they lace it. Like you don't know if you're getting, you don't know if you're getting like pure Super Mario or if there's a little bit of Resident Evil in that Mario.
Oh my God, you're playing Mario,
dude. And then it's a fucked up Resident Evil or Silent Hill Super Mario thing.
You're going through the Mario world. All of a sudden, you see Pyramid Head by the flagpole. What the fuck? When you start getting hunted down, the fog sets in.
Oh my God, it's like the setting, like there's fog all over as you run through the Mushroom Kingdom.
Oh my God.
And like crazy. Pyramid heads instead of the fucking that
Goombas
that's good.
I think Persona 5 would be a good drug. I'd love to live out that life. It'd be cool.
Okay.
I'm saying Astroneer.
What did you say?
Astroneer.
Astroneer. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay.
I think visually No Man's Sky would be pretty cool. Just experience.
Yeah, that could be a good one, especially because it's sort of just exploring.
Right.
And not a bad choice.
Not much of a game there, right? Am I right? Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
So, maybe that's what you want out of a drug. Like because you don't necessarily want to think about like goals and objectives. You kind of just want to relax and enjoy some scenery. I could see that being a good choice.
Yeah. Yep.
We've really come full circle because now I'm coming to really despise Bloodborne as an option. That sounds terrible. Everything's trying to kill you in the game.
You spoke too soon. You thought about games that you enjoy in your life. You weren't thinking about video games being turned into a drug.
Yeah, I was thinking like I would love to experience this game over again. So that game would literally be the drug. But I like this outlook on it much more. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, there you go. Those were the questions. Thank you for sending them in, boys. This would be the part where we move on to the iTunes Podcast Review of the Week. But sadly, there was not a review this week of our beautiful and illustrious podcast. So if you would like to leave a review for next week, please do. You can do that by opening up iTunes on your mobile device, on your computer, log into your account, look up KBMOD, and then simply rate us 5 stars, which is absolutely required for your review to be read, but give us the 5 stars we deserve, and then put in the box anything you'd like, to be honest, anything you like. It could be a legitimate review. It could be a question. It could be a poem. It could be Braille. I said this last week, but honestly, I don't know
give us some tips for how to train someone to do good segues.
Yes, that would be really helpful.
I was going to suggest, I think a great podcast review would be, could someone out there please write a fan fiction about Brandon being in the Battlegrounds world, and then he is like in the game when he wins and he's unable to leave the lobby, and then he just wanders the earth, and then from there on you can write anything you want. Crazy shit could go down. There's a lot of potential there. I've just dropped this golden idea for someone to take advantage of. I wouldn't be surprised if we get multiple submissions next week of different barn door fan fiction.
Stir them on. And of course there can be absolutely all kinds of I mean, you can do it as you see fit, but I think barn door in this world is he's a creature with a very rabid sexual appetite in my mind. So I think that needs to be explored in the fan fiction.
Lots of long phallic weapons available.
Oh my god!
Yes, there's
I've only got a primary and secondary slot, but I really want to carry another one.
Oh my god!
Oh, this is gold. Yeah, if someone does not take us up on this request, then
fan fiction writes itself. It's not even hard.
It absolutely does. Every time Brandon says phallic, things happen to me. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. You can, of course, check out kbmod.com, check out the multi-stream, get involved in the forums, comment on, the frozen pizza thread, start your own food thread. I think as far as activity goes, anything that involves food is going to be pretty active on those forums because we're pretty like-minded people when it comes to discussing food stuff. So you can, of course, check out KBMOD on Twitter, at KBMOD Gaming. Katie Zen is at Katie Zen 18. Brad is at Hutchison 15. I am at APL Fisher, and Volition, aka Brandon, is at VOL1TION on Twitter. So check us out, give us a follow, let us know. Just, I don't know, reach out. Katie Zen, you love people hitting you up in your mentions, right?
Yes.
You love to conversate.
Absolutely.
Brad likes it as well.
I feel like I'm needed.
Send Brad dank memes, dank memes that he cannot respond to because he's now a professional worker in a professional environment. Maybe taunt him. It's not a bad idea.
Please.
Please, yeah. Just because then that way, even if you don't respond to them, you can see them, Brad, and just like experience them. So
that's right.
Yeah, that would be helpful. All right, guys. This has been episode 282, and we will see you next week. Farewell.
Yappa!